it's Tankerl again, and this time I have another unboxing today. This is the Nokia X6, which is the successor to the Nokia 5800 XpressMusic. So what's exciting about this phone is that it has a capacitive touchscreen. This is the first device from Nokia with a capacitive touchscreen, and I love capacitive touchscreens, and I've been pushing really hard advocating for Nokia to do this. Unfortunately, it is running Symbian version S60 version 5, which, as we know, is not the greatest touchscreen OS. So here it is in its paper, and let me pull that out so you can have a closer look. There it is, the Nokia X6, which is the successor to the 5800 XpressMusic. Here, as you can see, there's a speaker, a door for the SIM card, the other speaker, the microphone, and the little tab to open the battery door. Here you have the camera button, which is double detent since this is an autofocus camera, the slider button, and the volume buttons. And on top you have a door for the USB port right here. You have the Nokia charger port, 3.5mm headphone jack. Actually, I'm sorry, this was the power button, and this is the USB, a micro USB door. In the front, you have the front-facing camera, the speaker grill, the little XpressMusic button, and as you can see, it says X6 Nokia. I'm surprised that the autofocus is actually focused a little further than I thought. And then the buttons here at the bottom, you get the call, end, and menu buttons, standard Symbian stuff. In the back, you have a 5-megapixel Carl Zeiss autofocus camera with dual LED flash. Now, as far as I know, this is the same camera that you'll find in the N97, N97 Mini. So it's a pretty decent camera, and that was one of the big issues with the 5800. The camera on the 5800, although it was spec'd pretty high, 3-megapixel autofocus, Zeiss optics, and dual LED flash, had such poor low-level performance it was for all practical purposes useless, at least for someone like me who's serious about camera phones. So this should be a much better camera. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it, but I will put it through its paces. As you can see, we can do a quick size comparison. The X6 is a lot thinner. It's not quite iPhone thin, but it does feel very good in the hand because it's round. Thinner, about the same height, maybe a little higher, and a little wider perhaps, although that's, let's see, it's a little bit wider maybe. But so it's not like a tiny phone, but remember, this is a mid-range phone like the 5800, even though the 5800 was the first Symbian S60 version 5 phone touch Symbian implementation. It was not a flagship, it was a mid-level phone. In the same sense, the X6, although it's the first capacitive screen phone from Nokia, is a mid-range phone. So it should be pretty affordable on contract pretty soon. This is a US version, so it has 3G and US bands. Spec-wise, you know, it's the same as 5800. You got Wi-Fi, GPS, etc., etc. The big difference is that there's no SD card slot. So there's a built-in amount of storage. I can't remember. Let me look at the box here. It's 16 gigabytes of storage built in, but there's no SD card slot, whereas the 5800 had the SD card slot, so you could put whatever you wanted in there. So let me look at what else is in the box, shall we? So here we have it. So there's a piece of plastic sticking out right here. I think this is the headset. 4-prong means that it probably has an inline remote with microphone on it. This piece of cardboard. Let's see. Here we have the AC adapter, standard mini charger at the end. Now, I've heard rumors that the X6, like the 5800, does need to be charged with the Nokia connector. It cannot be charged over USB, even though it does have micro USB, and that's kind of unfortunate because a lot of the new Nokia phones support charging over USB, so I'm not sure why they would have done that. Here's the battery. It's the same battery as the 5800, the BL5J. It's a pretty long-lasting battery. And then under this door we have a tiny micro USB data cable, very short, as you can see, loops around once. Micro USB. And we have some paperwork. Let me get rid of this piece of cardboard here. We've got the OVCD. It's the OV suite for your PC. A stop. And it says, you're having problems, call this number, go to the web at this website. And then finally we have a manual. I'm not sure why you need a manual these days on a phone, but it's a pretty thick manual. And then you have the warranty and reference information, which is, the standard safety stuff. So that is basically what you get in the box if you buy the X6 in the US. This is a US spec model. I'm going to play with this pretty extensively. I'm very excited about this phone. I know a lot of people are like, why could you possibly be excited about a Symbian phone? Well, the only thing that's bad about this phone, I think, is Symbian. I mean, I hate to say this, S60 version 5 is a disaster of a user interface. It is so, compared to what we have on Android and on iPhone today, it's kind of scary to think that here we are 3 years after the iPhone, and Nokia just introduced 6 months ago its first capacitive screen device. I mean, that tells you something. So I'm excited because of the capacitive screen. I used the Samsung i8910 last summer, I should say, in 2009. I used it extensively thanks to Ewan McLeod, who lent me one. It was Samsung's flagship phone, and it also was a Symbian phone running S60 version 5 touch. And having capacitive made such a huge difference compared to using, say, the N97 with a resistive screen. So I'm very excited that finally we have a Nokia phone with that. And the camera on this should be kick-ass. I mean, the N97 camera was fantastic, and I believe it's the same sensor. So I'll keep you posted. I'm a big camera phone buff. I'll let you know how it works out. And of course, here they are side by side. These are the two mid-range phones a year apart from Nokia. 5800 X6, resistive, capacitive, same inside, essentially same guts except for 3.2 megapixel versus 5 megapixel and 16 gigs of built-in storage versus SD card. So those is basically what we're looking at. I'll stay tuned. I'm definitely going to take this guy through its paces and use it as a primary device for a while. I've been looking forward to this phone for quite a while, so maybe I'll be disappointed, but I hope not. Here's the lens and camera. Give you a quick extra second tour here. Yeah, so in the same way as the 5800, this door opens up, you slide your SIM in there, and then you have to actually remove the SIM with something from inside the battery door. You can't just pull the SIM out from the side. It's kind of a weird arrangement, but hey. Anyway, that's it. Here's it is, the Nokia X6. Keep an eye on my blog for a bit more detail on this phone as I go. Definitely a camera review. Cheers.